Before I went into therapy, I honestly didn't know what was wrong. There was a constant tightness in my chest, which now I know is anxiety. I found it physically difficult even to get out of bed.
Before I started therapy, I really struggled with social interactions. If you ask me to name a friend from your school days, I have no one.
Before I started going for therapy, obviously there were a lot of issues because of which I had to eventually go. So, like my mental breakdowns, whenever it was in a public place or wherever it would happen, and sometimes it's not easy to control. It used to get very embarrassing. I would have a lot of suicidal thoughts.
My name is Nandini and I've been in therapy for about 10 years now.
My name is Soumya and I started going for therapy when I was 20 and struggling in college. It's been a little more than 10 years since then, and in that time, therapy has really helped me figure myself out.
My name is Parthavi and I've been going for therapy since October 2019.
My name is Lasya and I've been going to therapy on and off since 2016.
There was a constant tightness in my chest, which now I know is anxiety. As a creative professional, I found it very difficult to even articulate things. The ideas that came so naturally to me were just trapped somewhere. It was very tough for me to understand why certain things that seemed so easy for everyone else were so difficult for me. And I honestly did not have anybody who would even understand what I was going through at the time.
I was a very lonely person and I didn't know how to kind of be the person who could have friends or be a good friend.
It was difficult. I used to feel that nobody wants me. In fact, I did not have mirrors in my house wherever I would move to, because I just hated looking at myself. Even if people convinced, it's just that I couldn't convince myself that I'm not really bad. I'm not as bad as I think. And I just hated myself so much. It was difficult. And I understand many people would run away from me because I myself did not value myself much.
The moment that led me to therapy was when I woke up in the morning one day and I had actually bitten my lips to an extent that they were swollen. And that's when I thought, okay, something is wrong. And that's when I decided that, okay, I really need to take action on this. I actually found my therapist, the one that helped me actually come to terms with a lot of things about myself, very recently. Without explicitly telling me what to do, she kind of nudged the person that I've always been, which was hidden so far. She nudged that person out gently, and now I see that person that I have always been coming through because of this.
Therapy really helped me loosen up. It really helped me take that pressure off myself, the pressure that I was putting on myself to, make friends and be a good friend. It helped me understand that if I am who I am and if I'm happy, people will come to me and I'll be able to make long-lasting relationships. And now, from that scared, lonely, upset person, I have a beautiful social life. I love my friends. There's 5 of us who are absolutely ride or die for each other, and I know I have a life that's like really worth living.
I think she had to repeat to me over a few times and over a month or so, more than a month or so, that you're old now and nobody is going to abuse you, nobody is going to physically touch you, nobody is going to emotionally abuse you, mentally abuse you. So you can take your own decisions and people are all not that bad. So I think the first thing that I had to learn for myself, and it was not like a one day awakening, things have changed, but it had to be like a constant train your mind process where it was initiated by the therapist, where she'd be like, you don't have to be afraid of people anymore, just start looking at things differently, right? And also I tend to be way more fearless. Like I do things like say adventure sports, which I never touched before. Like I think I've done things like I went skydiving in a day's notice, or like went rafting in like heavy rain. All of this, I don't think like I could have. I've always had like this crazy fear of uncertainty that therapy really helped me break down. It made me understand that the fear of uncertainty is really coming from a lot of fears that you did not have under your control, or you did not have the consequences under your control when you were really young, when you were 3-4 years old. But when you're this old and you can do things for yourself, you know everything around you, it became those kind of things, like that fear of uncertainty. I start living with it so much easier. I think the biggest thing therapy taught me to do was drawing boundaries around myself, drawing emotional boundaries around myself. So I think like I'm at that point in my life, and 70% of the credit goes to therapy, that I don't have a single negative person around me. So it's a huge achievement.
Some of the changes that I've made in my life was to leave a lot of negative baggage from 2019, moving cities, cutting off toxicity from my life. The process of therapy is what helped me get here, is what helped me to actually take that decision and not keep, postponing it or keeping it in my mind.
Earlier it was like, God knows, very blurry, future mein kya hoga ye wo. Now I'm able to enjoy the present. If galti se bhi, if I feel like, what if nahi, just leave it or quit or whatever, then I feel like, no, I'm really curious to know what's going to happen, because I know something nice will only happen. I had stopped sketching and all, because I love sketching. I've been doing it since I was a 5-year-old child. So now I take time out for it.
So it's always been in the back of my mind to move back home to the place where I belong. But I'd say that my therapist specifically and the process of therapy is what helped me get here. When she kind of gave me that courage to do it, to take that decision, that's when I realized that, okay, this is a huge breakthrough for my life.
If I look at myself 2 years back, I wouldn't call it adulting, because I was still being very laid back about taking charge of things and taking care of myself. Now, I feel like an adult. It's a good feeling. I mean, it's not bad. I actually can take care of people. People can rely on me. I'm not an unreliable person, because earlier I was an unreliable person.
I think the major change that came from therapy is learning that I'm in control of my situations, and also understanding that, okay, XYZ is happening, but how can I objectively look at things and separate myself from my emotions and then function with what's happening around me?
The biggest early breakthrough that I had in therapy was this one session where my therapist helped me break down what were the things that were stopping me from developing my own sense of identity and doing the things I wanted to do freely with confidence and, living the life that I wanted to live. I remember her asking me why it was that I wasn't going after things that I want. And I said, I'm being stopped. My parents will stop me if I try and do this. And she said, really? What do you mean by stop? Will they cut off, financial support? And I said, well, I'm not actually financially dependent on them. And then she said, okay, will they physically stop you from leaving the house if you want to do these things? And I said, they might, but eventually they'd have to give up, right? And then she said, okay, so clearly what's stopping you is just your preconceived notions of what it means to be a good daughter. You're spending a lot of emotional effort in trying to take care of your parents. What you have to understand is your parents, they're adults. They will take care of themselves. You take care of yourself.